On the phone with me right now, it's Cynthia Fisher, and she's a part of Article 5 Convention of the States, trying to get people in Florida all on board with that. And you've got stuff going on, Cynthia. Welcome to the show, and tell us all about it.
Well, thank you, Ken. I really appreciate this, and I'll have to give a shout-out to Teddy. He's a real big supporter. He's actually had a group that was working to secede from the union, and you can imagine with the frustration that people have been feeling over the last, I would say, decade. For me, at least, I really had just reached that point of frustration. And in all my reading and subscribing, this email had come across my inbox from Convention of States about a year and a half ago. And I read it, and, and at the time it didn't resonate. But dial it forward, and all I could do, especially during this lockdown year of coronavirus, was look at the frustration that was coming out on everybody on social media. And the one thing that kept coming clear to me, and for some reason I thought back to that email, and I said, you know what, we can all sit around here complaining and moaning and groaning about the problem, but what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
So I went back to this email, and I said, you know what, I'm going to learn about this. And I can't imagine, I paid attention in school. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but, I kind of thought I knew what went on, with the Constitution and the government and how things should go, but I didn't. I was totally ignorant. So when I started reading, and Convention of States makes it so easy. They have fabulous videos. It's well explained, and it's explained by people that have super credibility. When you go back to how this country was founded, the history of Article 5, nobody ever mentioned that to me. I don't remember that in civics or American history. But Article 5 is probably one of the most, if not the most, powerful article that the founders, and believe me, they slipped it in at the last moment because they were really thinking. We have to thank George Mason for this. They had created Article 5 to give Congress, as we all know, the power to call for amendments to the Constitution. As we evolve and emerge as a nation, from 1787, things have changed, and we may need amendments, which the Bill of Rights is a great example of how Congress amended the Constitution. But George Mason, consider these guys had just escaped tyrannical rule in Britain, and we're trying to form a new country that would not be based on tyranny. He said, whoa, guys, you know what? We gave Congress the ability to amend the Constitution, but what if, we're 13 little states right now, but what if somewhere in the future this government becomes the same thing that we just fought for relief from and escaped? He said, we need to give the states, who really at that time had all the power, we need to give the states and the people of this country a means by doing the same thing. And so the second paragraph of this very short little Article 5 was put in at the last minute by Colonel George Mason. And thank goodness he did. Because what I didn't know, and I think a lot of Americans don't know, and we're doing our best to wake them up and make them aware of this fabulous power they have, we the people do have power against what has become a completely out-of-control federal government. We, as we know from this last election process, we had unelected government employees changing laws or just ignoring laws and creating new rules for how people could or couldn't vote. So when I read this and I went back and I started doing the Cause University, they have fabulous ways for you to learn all this. I said, you know what? For the first time, I feel like I have some power to do something effective. And I answered that email, and I got in touch with some of the wonderful people that work in Florida, and I became a volunteer district captain for House District 75, which is right here, Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. And we have 120 districts in this state, and we don't have them all covered. So we are desperately looking for people to do what I do. And basically, I just talk about it like I'm talking to you, and to me it gives people hope that we as the people, which are supposed to be the voice of America, we do have power, and it's easy to feel hopeless in the situation that we're in. But we are making inroads, and, the pushback that we're getting is complete evidence that Congress knows we are coming after them. They're not our public servants. They don't do what we, the people, want. And government, look at the trillions of debt we are leaving our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. So when I read this, I just said, you know what, this gives me purpose, and that is why I became a volunteer for Convention of States.
So where do we go from here? I've read Mark Levin's Liberty Amendments, love that, and we've been trying for how many years now to get this Convention of States going? How many states right now are involved and look like there's a real shot at getting this done?
Well, this is the amazing success. In 2013, this all started. Florida was the third state in 2014 to pass the resolution. And how this works is, this is not about Congress. This is not about a governor. This takes place by a sponsor. It could be a state representative or a senator, goes to the legislature of a given state and puts this resolution in motion. So Florida became number 3, Georgia was 1, Alaska was 2. To date, we have 15 states that have passed the resolution. For a convention to be called, there are specific requirements. So there is no danger of this becoming some crazy, out of control convention, as some of our opposition would have you believe. Mm-hmm. It requires 34 states to sign on to specifically named proposed amendments, of which there are 3 that 15 states have adopted this resolution. 20 more states are working this through their legislatures as we speak. My math isn't great, but 15 and 24, or 15 and 20 spells 35. So we would have one more state than we even need.
Good.
So 34 states have to agree on the amendments. Then a convention has to be called. No one can stop it. Congress can't stop it. It has to be called. When those delegates from each state, which each state sends however many delegates they want to go and work it all out, when they go and they come out with proposed resolutions or proposed amendments, it might not be the 3 that we proposed, which are limiting the fiscal ability of Congress to spend like drunken sailors, limiting their power and jurisdiction. They've definitely overstepped that.
Oh, yeah.
And limiting terms. And we're talking terms for Congress. We're talking terms for judges. We're talking terms for unelected bureaucrats who have just taken it upon themselves to make rules and act as if they had that power. Mm-hmm. So those are 3 that most any conscious American could agree on. It doesn't matter what side you sit on. The government's out of control. And so that's why a Convention of States is totally nonpartisan. So once these 34 or 35 or hopefully 50 states go to convention, whatever comes out of that convention, whether it's all 3 of those, 2 of those, or only 1, it still then has to be sent to all the states, and 38 states, which is 3/4 of the states in the United States, must ratify it for it to actually become an amendment or amendments to the Constitution. So for anyone who opposes this based on the scare tactics that this could become some runaway convention, it can't happen. You'd never get 38 states to agree to something ridiculous. So it is a true power that we were given. We haven't heard much about it. And Convention of States
they don't want
is
you to
making
know
people
that.
aware.
Yeah, they don't want you to know about that.
They certainly don't want us to know about it, because Congress will never do anything that will limit their power. I mean, they have it really good. And that's what we're all frustrated about. They're no longer listening. This is, and I have people ask me, well, why are we doing any more work in Florida? We've already passed it. I say, guess what? There are new representatives and senators being elected every couple of years. If we didn't know it, how many of them even know about Article 5? Oh. And what about those that would like to see it, rescinded? It can happen. They can rescind that resolution. So the other thing that I tell people, they say, oh, this will never happen in our lifetime. Maybe not. I think it will. But even if it doesn't, do you know when every single person signs the petition for Convention of States, That petition goes on letterhead from Convention of States directly in the mail to that representative or that senator's desk. What do you think is in their mind when they get hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of these petitions? These are also the same people that vote for me or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So my thought is that if I don't see it happen in my lifetime, I can go to my grave thinking I did something that mattered. And it's a constant reminder that, those same people that vote, they're really wanting you to support this, and they're not going to be very happy with you if you don't.
Indeed. So how can people get involved with you? How can people find out more about this?
Well, we have set up in House District 75, which covers Englewood, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, the area. We actually invite 3 districts to our monthly meetups. We have a wonderful supporter, Andy Contos, who owns the All-Star Sports Grill in Port Charlotte, right on 41, the second Tuesday of every month. And that would mean that May 11th is coming next Tuesday. We have a meet and greet. We have had fabulous turnouts. People from all over are coming and wanting to learn more. It is so simple, really. If you do nothing more than go to conventionofstates.com and sign the petition, you will have made an impact. But there's more. There are so many great, educated people who have found a way to be of service, to help. I mean, I look at the members of my family. I was born into the Air Force. I look at all of the sacrifices that have been made over the last couple of hundred years to keep this country free. I feel like doing this is the least I can do, considering the sacrifices that have been made in the past. So if you do nothing but sign the petition, you've made an impact. If you want to do more, there is so much more. We have prayer warriors, social media warriors, content writers all over the country. And there are people just like you and me that feel like, oh, wait, I have a voice. I can actually do something about this feeling that I have about a country that I love and I want to preserve for my grandchildren. Awesome. I think that's really the simplest way to put it. It is the one single power that the Constitution gives every single American through Article 5, that, yes, you do really have a voice. And together, we're a really, really loud voice. And it's getting louder, and they're paying attention.
Good to hear. Well, and it's the second Tuesday of the month at All-Star Sports Grill, right over there on 41, just north of Midway. And what time do you guys get together?
We get together at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's happy hour, and it's 75-cent wing night at the All-Star Sports Grill.
Well, there you go.
We are, it's really, the room that he has in the back for us is all decorated in red, white, and blue. We have a video monitor that he has Lee Greenwood singing, whatever which one is it? I can't remember, but it's fabulous. And he has an American flag. We start out with prayer. Everybody's getting involved, and it's really becoming quite, it's an event where people of like mind can get together and if nothing else, feel support and realize we're not alone. We're not. This is a huge grassroots effort that is spreading like wildfire across this country.
Excellent.
And I couldn't be more prouder to be involved with it.
Well, that's great. Cynthia Fisher, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to be on the show and giving us this information. Folks, you can find out more, conventionofstates.com, conventionofstates.com. Log on, sign the petition. And second Tuesday of the month at 4:30, head on over to All-Star Sports Bar, and you can meet Cynthia and like-minded people and see how we can make this Convention of States a reality. Cynthia, again, thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, Ken. It's been an honor. I appreciate your help.
You bet. 206-1580, toll free, 888-441-1580. Hey, Jim, what's going on, big guy?
Well, hey, Ken, my friend. How you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. Great call with Cynthia, Convention of the States. Hopefully we can pull that off one of these days.
You know what? I support that, and I wasn't aware that was going on, but that's pretty amazing. And I really love the 75-cent wings. And
you got to love 75-cent wings, yeah.
But yeah, that was impressive. Wow, that's good stuff. So I'll do some research on that and see what's going on, see if I can get behind that. But yeah, that was impressive. You did well with that, as always. You're the best interviewer on the radio. You do such a good job,
dude. I just stood back and let her talk.